The night was supposed to be ordinary, yet Alexander Grant felt a strange unease as he stood in the glittering ballroom. The chandeliers sparkled, the orchestra played softly, and laughter filled the air, but his heart thudded with a restless ache he couldn't explain. For 20 years, he had lived with a hollow wound, the disappearance of his little daughter, Lily, after a tragic fire that had claimed his wife. He had searched endlessly, hired investigators, chased shadows across countries, but every lead ended in despair. Tonight, as he mingled with the wealthy elite of New York, that ache pressed harder than ever, as though fate was whispering that something was about to change. And then it happened. A sudden crash echoed through the grand hall. A young server had stumbled violently, sending crystal glasses and champagne shattering across the marble floor. Guests erupted into cruel laughter, mocking her clumsiness. She trembled, her uniform soaked, as she scrambled to collect the shards with shaking hands. Humiliated, she kept her head bowed, her cheeks flushed with shame. But Alexander froze. The shape of her face. The tilt of her chin. The unmistakable glimmer in her eyes when she dared glance upward, it was like staring into the past. His chest tightened, his vision blurred. It couldn't be. He whispered under his breath, almost afraid to say it aloud. Lily. The glass slipped from his own hand, shattering onto the floor. The sound silenced the laughter. And as the young woman's startled gaze met his, Alexander felt the ground beneath him vanish. For 20 years, he had lived in despair, believing his daughter was gone forever. Yet here she was, or at least, someone who looked so identical it made his soul tremble. In that instant, his world shifted. And nothing would ever be the same again. Alexander's heart pounded violently. Could it be? Could this humiliated worker be the daughter he had searched for endlessly? She had the same honey-brown hair, the same piercing blue eyes. The same eyes that once looked at him with childlike innocence. The laughter around them faded into silence in his mind. He saw only her, this girl struggling to hide her tears as people mocked her. Something inside him broke. He couldn't stand still. He pushed through the crowd. Stop this nonsense, Alexander's voice thundered, silencing the laughter. His tone carried authority, a weight that made people instantly retreat. Get up, he said softly to the girl, offering his hand. She hesitated, confusion flashing in her eyes. Sir, I'm fine, she whispered, trying to keep her dignity. But Alexander shook his head. No. You're not fine. No one should ever be treated like this. Gasps filled the room. A billionaire defending a lowly server. Unthinkable. But Alexander didn't care. Something deep inside him screamed that this was more than coincidence. He had to know. Later that evening, Alexander found her sitting outside by the catering trucks, wiping her face. The city lights reflected in her tears. He approached quietly, his heart in his throat. What's your name? He asked. She glanced up, startled. Emma. Emma Carter. Her voice, soft, trembling, struck him like lightning. His Lily had a delicate voice like that. He swallowed hard. Emma. How old are you? 25, she replied. Alexander nearly collapsed. 25. The same age Lily would have been. His hands shook. Do you know your family? Your parents? Emma's eyes clouded. No. I grew up in foster care. I don't remember much of my childhood. Just fragments. A woman's laugh. A fire. Then nothing. Alexander's chest tightened. A fire. The same fire that claimed his wife and left his baby missing. His vision blurred with tears. Could fate be this cruel, or this merciful? Over the following days, Alexander couldn't let it go. He had his investigators discreetly look into Emma's past. Everything matched. Found wandering at age 5 near the outskirts of the city. No birth records. No known relatives. She had bounced from one foster home to another, enduring hardship, poverty, and abandonment. And yet, despite it all, she had grown into a kind, hardworking young woman. Every new detail carved deeper into his heart. Emma was Lily. He felt it in his bones. But he couldn't simply blurt it out. What if he was wrong? What if he reopened wounds for her? He had to be sure. He requested a DNA test. When the results came, Alexander locked himself in his study. His hands trembled as he opened the envelope. 99.9% probability, biological match. The paper slipped from his hands. He fell to his knees, tears streaming freely. For 20 years, he had prayed, begged, and cursed the heavens for taking her. And now, she was alive. Right in front of him. But there was another battle raging inside him, how to tell her. Emma had survived all these years without him. Would she hate him for not finding her sooner? Would she reject him, thinking he was just another rich man trying to buy affection? The next evening, Alexander invited her to his office under the guise of offering her a new job. Nervously, she entered, still wearing her simple clothes. She looked so small in his vast office. "You've been through so much," Alexander began, his voice trembling. "More than anyone ever should. And yet, you carry yourself with strength." Emma shifted uncomfortably. "I'm just, surviving." He leaned forward. "Emma, what if I told you, you're not alone anymore? That you belong to someone. To family." She frowned, confused. "Family?" Alexander's eyes filled. His voice cracked. "Emma, you're my daughter. My Lily." The room fell into silence. Emma's breath caught. Her body stiffened. "What? No. That's impossible." Alexander pulled out the DNA results with shaking hands. He slid them across the desk. She read them, her lips trembling. Her eyes darted back to him, searching his face. I don't understand," she whispered. "All these years. I thought I was unwanted. Forgotten." Alexander's tears spilled over. He came around the desk and knelt before her, just as he once had when she was a child. "You were never unwanted. Never. I searched for you every day of my life. I thought I lost you forever." His voice broke into sobs. "And now you're here." Emma's walls crumbled. All the years of pain, loneliness, and silent questions burst forth. She collapsed into his arms, weeping. For the first time in 20 years, father and daughter were together again. The reunion, however, was not without challenges. Emma struggled to adjust to the sudden truth. She couldn't simply erase the years of hunger, humiliation, and heartbreak. At times, she pushed Alexander away, angry at the world, angry at fate. But Alexander never gave up. He walked beside her, not as a billionaire, but as a father desperate to make up for lost time. He helped her pursue her dreams, studying, traveling, finding her passions. But most importantly, he gave her something no money could buy, belonging. One evening, at another grand event, Emma walked into the same ballroom where she had once been humiliated. This time, she was introduced as Alexander Grant's daughter. The same people who had laughed at her now stared in awe. But Emma didn't care about their admiration. She cared about the man who stood proudly beside her, holding her hand as if he would never let go again. She leaned close and whispered, "Thank you for finding me, Dad." Alexander's throat tightened. He kissed her forehead. "No, sweetheart. Thank you for surviving long enough for me to find you." Their story became a quiet legend among those who heard it. A reminder that no matter how powerful or wealthy one may be, it is love, compassion, and family that truly matter. Alexander, once hollow and broken, was whole again. Emma, once abandoned and forgotten, had found her place. And together, they discovered that life's most precious treasures aren't measured in riches, but in the miracle of reunion, forgiveness, and love.